Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Ask Jonathan. Okay, so we're just going to jump right quick into these. I'd like these videos to be pretty quick, not too long. But the question this week comes from Shadow Creator 21. And before I answer his question, just a reminder, I'll remind you guys at the end of the video as well. If you'd like me to answer a question you have, just leave it right underneath into the comments. And if you see a question that somebody's already asked, give it a thumbs up. So the question is, where do you get sample scripts? It's a pretty easy question. The answer is a little difficult-ish, kind of. It depends on what you're looking for. The easiest way, again, is to hit up those forums that I posted in the previous video. And again, I'll link all that stuff into the underbar. Not really conceptart.org, but try to look for forums that focus on comic book material. The big ones that I know of are Digital Webbing and PENCILJACK. I know there's more, but I've been out of the loop for a little bit on those. You can also do a quick Google search on sample scripts. Now, usually Google and things like that, they're going to start, the scripts you're going to get are mostly going to be Marvel, DC. Maybe you get lucky and get some Image. It'll be big name stuff. You can also, if you're on Facebook and you're following some creators, you can just throw a little link out there. And if you see people like myself or other people that are actually doing work, run it by us. Ask us, hey, can I get a sample, or can I get a chunk of a script of the book you're working on, like for me, the standard or the hero code? And then, no, I'm not going to say do this to every single creator that you know, but there are, you can usually gauge from people whether they're, and this isn't a knock to people that aren't, but you can usually gauge how interactive certain creators are with other people, so they won't take offense to it. Or some people, I don't know, artists, sometimes you can't really guess what you're getting. But yeah, that's another way of doing it. Now, the easiest way outside of that, for me, that I've ever found, is making the script yourself. I know that sounds a little crazy, and if you're an artist, it's probably, you're thinking things like, I don't know, like I can't write. That's fine. However, you need to remember that the script that you're going to draw from, and initially that's going to be the sample script, it's got to fall into two things, really. One is, what is the script for? And two, what is the sample for? If you're trying to get hired like the old school way, and I guess, to this day it's still kind of like that as well, where you go to a con, I've done it before, where you go to a comic book convention, and you'd have like 15 pages or 3 to 8 pages, you don't got to go too crazy, of comic pages, but you need a script. And a lot of people, the old way of thinking, and again, some people still believe it, is if I were to send my samples and my stuff to, like, let's say Marvel, I should probably have like Spider-Man or the X-Men or something like that, and DC, Batman or Superman. I suppose that is true, because they still would like to see how you draw their properties, their characters. However, if you're just starting out, chances are that you're not, I don't want to say good enough to work for those companies, but your chops, you know what I mean? You still need to get that, you got to run through the dirt, you got to get all that garbage out of the way. So, make it so much easier on yourself. Just concern yourself about making scripts, or scripts that you'll turn into samples that you can put on your website, so that you can reply to people's posts that are looking for an artist. If you're a colorist or something, I'm assuming these don't really matter to you, because it's probably much easier to find artwork than it is the actual script. So, really quick, I could give you like a quick rundown on how to make a script that you could do, I don't know, in 5 pages, let's say. The easiest way is to think of it like 3 acts, and I'm not going to tell you guys how to write and things, there's tons of things out there, but a good rule of thumb is Act 1 and Act 3 are, if you were to put them together, their size is roughly equal to Act 2. So that gives you, out of a 5-page sample, the first page would be your introduction, or your first act. The next 3 pages would be your Act 2, the actual conflict that's happening, and then your last page would be the resolution. So, talking in superhero terms, let's say we'll do Spider-Man. So page 1 is Spider-Man. He might not even be in on the first page. But just say you're having, I don't know, we'll do like a parade like they usually always do. And I'm sure you already know where the villain's going to come from. But there's a big parade in the first page, and then at the end of the first page, the villain makes the appearance. So we'll also have an explosion, and it's the Green Goblin kind of throwing a pumpkin bomb. Now, that gives you 3 pages to have Spider-Man show up, deal with Green Goblin, and then the very last page have either Spider-Man win or Spider-Man lose, or some kind of twist. Now, to keep it much more simpler for yourself, remember, what you're writing in the script is to showcase what you can do. If you hate drawing backgrounds, maybe they don't have to be in a city. You can put it in, I don't know, the rainforest or something. You might need a different hero for something like that. Just try to tailor it to what you're good at. You know what you like to draw. Now that doesn't mean make it easy on yourself and not have to do hard things like drawing cityscapes and stuff. But remember, you're trying to sell yourself to somebody. So if you can't draw something, you better be prepared to be able to draw that down the road, because you will be asked to do that, especially when there's money tied onto that. And if you're trying to go to the big publishers, you can grab a book off the shelf and see what they normally publish, and that's the work that they're going to expect. There's people already able to do that. So don't forget that if you're trying to get in on these places, you're taking somebody else's job, or potentially fighting other people to take their job. So you got to be diverse. You got to be able to do things. But that's thinking down the road. Right now, if you're just worried about a script, just worry about it in 5 pages. If you want to even condense that to 3, make it even simpler on yourself. Again, your Act 1 would be that parade with Green Goblin showing up. Your second page would be Spider-Man and Green Goblin fighting. Third page would be Spider-Man winning, maybe webbing him up, and then the police show up and Spider-Man's going away. The other thing to remember too is don't worry about if this is cliche or if the story is really awesome. Don't worry about any of that, because what you're showing is your artistic ability. And you know, there's no word balloons. You're not worrying about any of that garbage. You're just worrying about selling yourself as an artist to somebody else that's willing to back you with real money. So hopefully that answers your question. So again, if you guys have any comments or questions, leave them in the comment box below, and I'll answer them next week in another show. So take care, keep reading comics, keep making comics, and we'll talk soon. Bye.